Welcome back, everybody. Today, we're gonna be ranking the tier list of the classic instances. I got my homeboy Theta Clips right here.
Oh yeah.
Oh
You
yeah.
know how it is. You know how we get down.
You know how we
get down with the classic grind set.
You remember the Halo tier list? The best tier list ever.
Tier list ever? This is the best World of Warcraft tier list
This is the
ever.
best World of Warcraft tier list ever.
Not only is this objective fact, but Blizzard better take all of our recommendations into account for Classic Plus. And if they don't, I'm going to straight up kill Bobby Kotick.
We are going to strangle them to death. We're gonna hang them by a noose.
I'm literally going to proc Wind Fury on Bobby Kotick's entire family.
I'm going to proc revenge on his entire studio. Alright, so we're gonna go in order. So, like, the first instances you get to, so like, Ragefire, Dead Mines, all that. This is all in order. Alright.
Level progression order.
Yep. So, let's start off with the tiers. We got phenomenal, that's like the best of the best. You know, we got great, self-explanatory. Solid, alright, forgettable for like stuff that, you know, it's like, it's whatever. And then terrible. This is self-explanatory. So
it should just be called the Encourage tier, but we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that.
Alright.
Anyway.
So, let's start off, Ragefire Chasm. I feel like, let's just go about it first. Let's talk about what we think about it. So.
Okay, so.
You want to start us off, or do you want me to start off?
No, you're the host. You give us the start.
Alright, so, I feel like this is, like, I feel like some people are a little bit too harsh on Ragefire, but I understand where they're coming from. It's a very simple, dungeon. It's very early on, so of course, you know, it's gonna be...
It's even lower level than Dead Mines.
Yeah. But I think for an introductory dungeon for the Horde, I think it's a pretty solid fit, in my personal opinion. A little bit more than Wailing Caverns, personally.
I would argue the vast majority of Horde players probably don't even bother with Ragefire, just because it's in such an odd level bracket that by the time you would realistically have gotten to it, you're already in the Barrens.
Yeah.
Overall, I would say enemy diversity. I think we should establish some criteria about that, by the way. But in my just going off like off the dome, right?
Yeah.
I would say Ragefire's enemy diversity,
layout,
aesthetic, exactly, and like lore reason, like basically why you're there.
Yeah.
So, Ragefire, enemy diversity, the first half is kind of trash. It's like fucking rockworms and the trogs from Gone. Then you have the second half with the Burning Blade and the demons. The second half of Ragefire is definitely much better than the first.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Lore-wise, it's cool because it's like your first direct contact with Thrall.
Yeah.
You know, you're
Thrall
rooting out
himself tells you to go deal with the problem.
Exactly, and in classic, you talk to Etrig. He tells you to go check out Razor Hill and see the new Horde. So, in that respect, lore-wise, it's actually fairly strong. Probably not on par with Dead Mines, of course, but definitely. It's still... almost on the same tier, because the Alliance was characterized more heavily in Warcraft 2, the Horde was characterized more heavily in Warcraft 3.
Oh, definitely.
So it would follow that the introductory dungeons in WoW would kind of explore their backgrounds for players who didn't necessarily play the RTS games.
Yeah.
Overall, I'm feeling probably like an alright to solid on this. It's nothing stellar.
I feel like,
it's definitely not as good as Dead Mines, but overall, it's not inexcusable. Like, I'll run
I feel
it,
like
whatever.
It's, for what it is, it's pretty solid, but in comparison, it's alright.
It's a decent introduction to group mechanics. I definitely think Dead Mines is more intensive in that respect.
Dead Mines is better of an introduction, in my personal opinion.
Overall, Ragefire is... like I said,
alright.
it's alright. It's alright. It's not bad.
Dead Mines. This is, like, the pinnacle of what people think of, like, the first dungeon you do. This is, like...
early vanilla.
This is what most people think of, period, when you think of dungeons in vanilla.
Yeah, I would argue even Horde players think of Dead Mines before Ragefire. And or Wailing Caverns.
Yeah. Because the loot variety, pretty solid. The actual encounters, pretty solid. The enemy variety, like, sure, during the first half, it's not that great, but whenever you get to, like Sneed and onwards, yeah, I'd say the variety's pretty solid. Because you got...
It's decent. It's definitely decent.
Definitely decent, in terms of that variety. Aesthetics are... Bro, you know Dead Mines. Like, you got the whole pirate theme, you got all of that.
The grotto.
The grotto. You got the whole pirate ship and everything. you got Sneed, you got Cookie, you got that ogre, I forget his
Mr.
name.
Smite, bro,
Mr.
my goat.
Smite, Edwin Van Cleef, Cookie, Captain Greenskin,
The ogre dude.
ogre dude.
Yeah.
I feel like
Overall,
pretty solid. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I'd say I put it in solid. I know people are probably gonna say like, how is it not in phenomenal? But like,
Or yeah, even
there's a few
great.
problems I have with Dead
Yeah,
Mines.
there are a couple of problems, and I don't feel like it's necessarily stellar. Like I think it's a great. I would say either solid or great, but I feel like let's hold off on great for right now.
Yeah, no, it's too early to say anything
Too
is like
early,
truly,
yeah.
truly great.
But it does make the argument for it.
I feel like Dead Mines and Wailing Caverns are going to be similar. Since it's the next one anyway, I'll just like, segue into it. Yeah. I think they both have a similar problem of being a little samey. Dead Mines is definitely more iconic than Wailing Caverns. Wailing Caverns is iconic in terms of like the struggle of a early game classic dungeon, which is the fucking the Wailing Caverns jump, the labyrinthine design. Like there's a lot of
Caverns menace.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of criticism that can be levied Wailing Caverns way, but in terms of like loot wise, it's goated. Like basically every class can get something that's amazing for them early game in Wailing Caverns, which you deserve after suffering in the Barrens for 9 levels.
Yeah. And also suffering throughout the entire dungeon too.
Of course. Half of the fucking quests related to it aren't even inside the instance because the Wailing Caverns themselves
half of the
isn't
entire
just the
dungeon
instance.
isn't even in the dungeon.
Isn't even inside of it. Yeah, imagine if the fucking entry hallway was part of the instance too. Jesus Christ. And honestly, it might be a contender for the longest instance in the game if that was the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like it's not a terrible, like it's not awful. It's
not
definitely it's similar to Dead Mines where there's like a lot of nostalgia factor for it.
Of course.
But it was definitely an experimental design. I think there's an interview with John Statz where he's talking about it before they introduced the player cap in instances in 1.12. Before you could take in a raid group into dungeons, and then they changed it so that way only Ubers, Lobers, and BRD could have 10 to 15 players.
Yeah.
But yeah, like John Statz talked about having like 20 people in Wailing Caverns, and of course that must have been wonderful in the beta. So overall, again, I'd say put it on par with Dead Mines. It's definitely, again, like it might not be the most fun to play, but as a proper like early mid game dungeon for Horde players, because Ragefire is more like a tutorial than anything else. It's an extended tutorial. So I'd say it's pretty much on par with Dead Mines. Dead Mines is definitely better, but it's not inexcusable.
And also, I do have to admit, there's another thing that I will also levy for it, is that with Wailing Caverns, you also have a nice little, like, kind of like starting off point for, like you know how, like, certain dungeons have, like, certain things for different classes and stuff? For example, like, Ragefire Chasm has a big focus on, like, warlocks and everything. Wailing Caverns has a big focus on druids.
Yeah.
So, I think that's a little bit nice, how some dungeons have stuff like that. But, that's just a small thing. Anyway, Stockades. Stockades is... it's interesting, to say the least. Actually, no, it's the exact opposite. Well, talking about
it's 3 hallways.
It's 3 hallways. How good could it be?
It's 3 hallways and 3 boxes with the boss inside.
But
it's pretty much like your cookie cutter.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not. Again, like most of the early dungeons are not horrible. They're just like very.
It's just very.
They've got a wide variety of what makes them unique. So I would say Stockades. It's like the second culmination of the Defias storyline, whereas Dead Mines is like the first culmination.
Yeah.
Stockades is like the continuation of that. It's cool
for sure.
Considering it's like an advanced version of Ragefire where it's an instance inside Capital City.
Yeah.
It's not inexcusable. The loot is fairly decent from what I remember.
Yeah,
but it's very spammy.
Solid. It's very spammy.
I would say there's a lot of mobs in there that are fucking annoying to deal with.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
Just the sheer quantity of mobs that you have to fight. But overall, I mean, like it's not bad. It's the design, while simplistic, at least isn't confusing.
It at least works, you know?
Yeah.
Also, I do like just the concept of going into a prison and just beating the hell out of prisoners. That's just hilarious to me.
Yeah. I would say give it a solid all right. Yeah, depending on who you ask, that might be controversial, but
I feel like people either hate on it too much or are too lenient on it, in my personal opinion.
It's serviceable.
It's serviceable. That's all. Personally, I still prefer Ragefire a little bit, because it's, you know, a little bit more unique, like, layout-wise. But that's just me.
Fair enough.
Alright, Shadowfang Keep. This is an interesting one. Uh, Shadowfang, I feel... I do like it, but I wouldn't say it's, like, up there, personally. I wouldn't say it's, like, up, like, Deadmines tier. But I personally do think it's a little bit more fun than Wailing Caverns.
For sure.
For sure, for sure. And, of course, the whole, you know, stuff about, like, the Worgen, the, you know, the Sons of Aurigol and everything. This is like the, This is like the Stockade / Wailing Caverns for the undead. You know?
Early mid-game dungeon. I would
Yeah.
say it's got a lot more going for it than Wailing Caverns.
Definitely.
I like the haunted mansion aspect of it. It's like not really a subversion, but it's similar to, like, you know, the original Bram Stoker's Dracula. It's like a cursed
Yeah,
castle
yeah,
with
yeah.
the dark wizard inside of it. The explanation of the Worgen curse is pretty cool because it gives a little bit of background information without revealing too much about, like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
ancient history of
Yeah.
Azeroth. And also, again, like, everybody knows when you're questing in Silverpond and you get bitch slapped by a level 14 son of Aragorn, you're like,
Oh,
what the
yeah.
fuck is that? So going into the Shadowfang Keep and seeing all the Worgen, the ghosts, seeing the headmaster, you know, the owner of Shadowfang
Yeah,
Keep,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
finally killing Aragorn himself, definitely a fun experience. I
Oh,
could
for
understand
sure.
if you would put it in all right tier, but I would put it above Wailing Caverns, below
Me
Dead
too.
Mines.
Yeah, I would definitely do that right there.
Aesthetically, it's neat. It's not too labyrinthine. It's challenging enough for the level that it's on, and the loot honestly is really good for the
Oh,
level that it's at.
absolutely, yeah.
Lots of hunter
A
drops,
lot of
lots of
hunter
warrior
drops, lots of
drops.
warrior drops.
Yeah,
It's just
it's
very
overall
cool.
solid. Yeah,
Also, this also is like around the same time, where you start getting your actual like quests for your class and all that stuff. And some classes do have class quests where you gotta get stuff in Shadowfang and of course Deadmines, like for example Paladin for your hammer. So that's cool. That's cool. Uh, so yeah, solid. All right, Black Fathom Deeps.
first of all, honorable mention for I Am Murloc for mentioning it in the open lyric.
True.
Those Murlocs are indeed
They are
menaces.
menaces. Black Fathom
I
Deep.
like the Naga.
Yeah, I do like the Naga. Black Fathom Deeps is a very interesting dungeon. Personally, I think the layout is really cool. The loot is pretty solid from what I remember. Uh, I just think it's cool.
I would argue Ashenvale as a zone is a lot better than the dungeon associated. I mean, technically, Black Fathom Deeps is in Darkshore, but it's more or less all of the quest lines
Yeah,
in Ashenvale will at some point lead you to Black Fathom Deeps
of
or
course,
around
yeah,
Ashenvale. So
around there.
I would say, compared to the zone that it's associated with, Black Fathom Deeps is definitely lower. Like, I
For
love
sure.
Ashenvale, but Black
Of
Fathom
course,
Deeps isn't
yeah.
necessarily my favorite. Enemy variety is okay. Lots of CC, so it's definitely a little bit more challenging than the other
Definitely.
5 dungeons we've mentioned so far. There's a lot more emphasis on actually coordinating with your group and strategizing because of, like, the stealth rogues, the
Yeah.
frost bolting Naga, the underwater enemies that give your utility classes a time to shine, like, you know, aquatic form druid, water breathing shaman,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Not a lot of CCs to worry about, which is also nice. Like, it's not like enemies spam fear. They do the runaway and fear and chain pull, but that's up to you to manage by yourself.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
frost or hamstring, whatever it is. So
Hamstring,
fairly
frost,
challenging instance for the
hammer.
level that it's in.
Yeah.
Loot is not bad. Plenty of quests to do that'll put you
Oh,
above the
for
level 30
sure.
brackets and
Oh,
send
for
you into the
sure.
later game. Um, Overall, I mean, yeah, like
It's a
it's
pretty
a serviceable
solid,
dungeon.
yeah.
It's good at what it does. Still definitely better than Wailing Caverns.
Oh, definitely.
I don't think it should be below solid because there's really nothing like
Agreed.
egregiously wrong
There's
with
nothing
it. It was even
egregiously
made into
wrong.
a raid in Season of Discovery
Yeah,
because of
which
how
was
iconic it
yeah.
is. So I would say it belongs in solid.
I would say personally, yeah, solid. But personally, I would put it below Shadowfang. Personally, what would you think? What do you think?
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right, now this is especially what people think of when they think of classic vanilla dungeons.
The generational
The
run.
generational run. Well, yeah, generational run. Scarlet Monastery. All right, starting with Graveyard, which is also, in my opinion, and most people's opinion, the weakest of the four, but still pretty solid for what it is. You know. it's like the loot isn't really terribly great, but there is a lot of general like drops from the ads, which do help a lot.
Best thing about Graveyard is the Headless Horseman event.
True,
Like,
absolutely.
it's not a particularly great instance. I feel
I
like it's
feel
carried
it's
by just the fact that
yeah.
it's in Scarlet Monastery.
This is true. I feel like it's pretty forgettable because I remember the first time that we did it, we were like, "That's it,
That's it.
that's
Yeah,
it."
it's
You know,
it's okay.
that's okay.
It's not a it's like it's I would say honestly like it's kind of ridiculous to say this, but I would say honestly you could make an argument for it being unforgettable because
That's
it's
what I was about to
such
say.
like
Yeah,
a non like it's
it's
barely even really a dungeon. The
yeah,
hardest thing about it is that there's elite enemies in it.
yeah. I would say it's pretty forgettable in my personal opinion. It's
Yeah.
cool. Don't get me wrong. I do like going through the whole like you get the torturer. You know that part was cool, and then of course go down into like the actual like crypt at the end. Deal with all those ghosts and everything and undead. Fight that one dude, but besides that, it's pretty forgettable. I'd say personally. Now, library. Now this like from here on out, generational run. Generational. Library, I feel like a lot of them do kind of, the thing about Scarlet Monastery, at least for me, is they do kind of blend together, but that and not in a bad way though. Like you feel like you're going through one whole like big thing whenever it's several instances, Like library, pretty solid, really really solid. I do like it. You got some pretty solid quests for a library. You get some good loot. That's all I got to say about library.
Yeah, it's I mean you got the Houndmaster, you got the overall layout of it. I would argue Library is probably the strongest of the three wings of SM because it doesn't overstay
Yeah.
its welcome.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
It's not particularly long except for the section like before the boss where it's a lot of just like twists and turns and just like copy pasted rooms.
Yeah.
But it never feels like it's dragging on, you know?
Of
Like
course, yeah.
there's just enough time in each room with a fair amount of mobs that it's not too terrible.
Of course,
As
yeah.
for loot, a lot of decent loot. You got the Houndmaster staff, the dog whistle,
Yeah.
the Arcanist robes and the mantle. So good stuff for casters. Not a lot of great stuff. I mean, besides the mob drops, the Scarlet set. Overall, again, yeah, not inexcusable. Definitely in solid tier. I would
Oh,
say it's
definitely.
on par. I don't know if it's
Bu-
necessarily.
I
I don't know.
I don't know. It's tough because
It's kind of hard to
I
place.
I would
I guess I could
personally.
I could see it above Shadowfang, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, I would say it's for me. It's like around like it's around the same tier as Dead Mines personally. So yeah, I'd personally put Dead Mines a little bit higher, but that's not saying Library is inherently worse than Dead Mines because I think Dead Mines for what it is higher up personally than Library because the whole of Scarlet Monastery is just so good. You can take it or leave it.
Yeah.
All right, Armory. Armory is an interesting case because it's really really good, but it also drags on, personally.
Yes, I agree. There's a lot of the like the runaway and fear mobs
Yeah,
because they're all humanoid,
of
obviously.
course, yeah. And
So
also
that makes
the
chain
layout
pulling a big
itself is
issue.
also really
I wouldn't say it's confusing, but it definitely does get repetitive
yeah
after a
repetitive.
certain point. It's very, very, very Like I don't want to repeat myself, ironically, but it's very repetitive. It's just a lot of like twists and turns, side rooms with casters that chain pull each
Yeah,
other,
yeah.
self-healing mobs, shielded mobs. So overall, I would say in terms of gameplay, it's definitely where the challenge starts to pick up.
Oh, definitely.
It puts a lot of strain on healers, especially at
Of
this
course,
level.
yeah.
Even if you're properly geared for this point, like if you have a lot of good quest items, you have some blues from dungeons. It's
Yeah.
definitely a tough time
Oh,
for
for sure,
everybody in
for
the
sure.
party. I guess in classic properly, like because obviously the talents were a lot different. You actually had stuff like frost mages. You had warriors using tanking in battle stance
Yeah.
and things like that. So it wasn't. I'm sure that in Classic, it's probably a lot better, but in the versions that we've played so far, it's very difficult to get people to actually play
Yeah.
it properly. So it ends up being, especially when you're pugging it like RDF or whatever, definitely harder than it needs to be. But I would put it in at the top of all right. I definitely could see it above Ragefire and Stockades without a doubt. Honestly,
I would,
probably
I
could
would,
be in Solid 2.
I
Might
would
even be above
personally put
Whaling
it.
and BFD.
I'd say above Whaling personally.
Yeah, yeah, in that range for sure.
Yeah. All right, so we can.
You could put it above Whaling. I definitely think it's better than Whaling Caverns.
All right, now Cathedral. Now this is what people think of SM. Like this is like the most iconic section of SM at least in my opinion, because you have the open segment of like you got the whole like you got the water stream down the middle and the two sides. You can
Courtyard.
the courtyard. You got all the bosses in. Well, I mean it's one big old room basically, and then you got Fairbanks to the side in a little secret cubby, and then it's kind of like a twist, you know, because like you know, why is this guy in Undead? He's supposed to be one of the high up dudes, you know, because you know the Scarlet Crusade are a bunch of light fanatics that are like everything undead must die, you know. And then
I would say,
yeah, go on.
you know, Mograine and Whitemane, classic. You know, at your side, my lady. You know, the first documented battle res in history.
True, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great experience. It's also again very challenging for the level range. Now you're getting into like the mid to late game where it's scary. You can't pull too many packs at once. You know, you can't get away with stuff. Again, healers are definitely under a lot of stress at this point.
Oh, definitely.
Damaging classes also have to not even watch their threat, but there's a lot of macro management that needs to go on between the entire team. Again, like making sure you put out your CCs properly, avoid chain pulling, silences, interrupts, that kind of thing. It's definitely like a good introduction to group mechanics.
Oh, definitely, and also like team coordination too.
100%. And one of the biggest things about it too is I would say again the loot is really good. Pretty much everybody gets an opportunity to get something. And I would say the reason why it's above all the other wings of Scarlet Monastery is it's short and it's sweet, but it offers enough of a challenge that it's short and sweet enough to offer replayability, but it gives enough challenge that it doesn't get stale. It's not just like a blast through it over and over again, hit your level cap and then dip. Like there's a lot to it.
There's a lot to it.
It's not an easy run every time.
Yeah. Sometimes you can get bad runs. Sometimes you can get phenomenal runs. You know, like everybody could get something. Add drops, the Scarlet set. You got all that stuff there. Then you get the boss drops. You can get healer gear. You can get paladin gear, warrior gear, rogue gear, hunter gear. You know, you got a variety of different stuff, man.
Yeah, I would say this is probably the first instance that can go into great tier.
I would even argue maybe even phenomenal.
It's debatable. I'd say put it at the top of great for now.
For now. All right. Gnome
Regan.
I know a lot of people do like Gnome Regan, but I am not one of those people.
It's aesthetically interesting to say. It does have that going for it. Mechanic-wise, again, it's honestly probably even above Cathedral in terms of difficulty. Like Mechgineer is like the first truly mechanically intensive boss fight where you have to focus a lot of mini ads.
And the loot is also pretty solid too.
Yeah, the Druid Mace that you farm when you're level 60. Yeah, great, bro, great. It's on par with Maradon Princess farming. It's definitely like it's not a great to play it, right? To play it because
I feel like that's really important for a dungeon.
I think the issue is also again going back in time. Again, whether it's Classic Anniversary or you're playing on a private server, whatever the case may be, the biggest problem is that for some reason Gnome Regan simply wasn't treated the same way that Scarlet Monastery was, because I think Gnome Regan could have benefited a lot from having wings like Scarlet Monastery did.
Oh, for sure.
Because it's just a gigantic instance, and for at the time, right, depending on what your comp is, because again, it's not like there's a dungeon finder in Classic, right? You assemble a group on your own.
that's it.
Depending on the needs of the players in your group, whatever quests you might have, you don't have to do a full clear. There's very few cases where you have to. And again, it's also pretty much exclusively an alliance only dungeon.
Yeah.
So that's also something you have to keep in mind. It's not like you have multiple factions competing for it.
I mean, true. I mean,
but
Horde can get it, but you got to go over to Booty Bay.
There's no purpose for Horde to go to Gnomeregan.
There's no real
like
reason.
Unless you're Druid Mace farming, there's zero reason for you to go here as a Horde player. I would say overall, it's not mechanically a bad instance. There are good things about it. It's just its design suffers a lot from the way that people play it, because there's horror stories of Gnomer runs taking 3+ hours because people are insistent on doing a full clear when you absolutely do not need to. There is no reason to do a full clear of Gnomer. You get your loot, you get your quest, and you get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Again, I feel bad putting it in terrible, but I would say the experience of playing it is worth the design philosophy that went into it.
I feel like there's so much going for it, but in my opinion, actually playing it, it has to kind of go in terrible.
Yeah, no, it's not a good experience
not a fun
ever.
Experience. There's a lot going for it, but it's just unfortunately not fun at all. It's like you said, it would definitely help if it had wings, but it didn't have that fortune. Anyway, now, the Razorfen dungeons, starting with Crawl. Crawl, in my opinion, is the weakest of the two. I feel like...
Agreed.
It's not bad. I don't really like it, though. But, it's it's a solid dungeon, don't get me wrong. Because, it's got some decent loot. It's got some, it's got a bunch of different stuff you can do. I don't really have a lot of words for it, because, it's Razorfen Crawl, It's a crawl to do it. That's all I'm gonna say.
Nah, I would say it's similar to SM Cathedral in the sense that it's short and sweet. It's not something that overstays its welcome. You're in and you're out for whatever the quest is, whatever it might be. Its location is fairly convenient for Horde players. Now, obviously not so much for Alliance.
Of course, but relatively it can be. Because
I mean, I guess you could take the boat to Ratchet and then just go down there. But I'm saying for Horde players, it's a more natural progression for sure. I mean, you get the quest from Camp Taraho, and then you just head out right before you're ready to set off in 1,000 Needles.
Yeah.
It's definitely, it's a good evolution of Scarlet Monastery. What you learn in Scarlet Monastery as a player, and even Gnomeregan to a lesser extent. A lot of emphasis on group mechanics, trying to keep your cooldowns fresh while also managing, casters, mana pools, and making sure the tank is topped up at all times and stuff like that. Not super mechanically intensive beyond that. There's not a lot of CC or stuns that I can think of from RFK. It's just, it's serviceable. I guess you could put it above Stockades. Honestly, I think this could probably be above Ragefire. It's not a horrible dungeon whatsoever.
It's not horrible at all. I just don't really like it, personally.
Yeah, no, it's a very... I wouldn't say it's necessarily divisive. It's just like, it's okay at what it does.
It's perfectly serviceable, and that's okay. Now, Downs is definitely way better, in my opinion. The loot's generally better. The encounters are more varied. You have a little bit more variety with, the actual, the way you go about it, in my opinion. You got both the actual, one thing about the Razorfen Crawl is that you only have the Quillboars to fight, really. But in Downs, you do have undead to fight. You got the Abominations, you got ghouls, you got, undead Quillboars. You got all this different stuff. The bosses are pretty cool. You get your first real Abomination boss. You fight your first, I think you fight your first Lich here, right?
Yeah. The Cold Wraith at the end.
Yeah. And there's a lot of different cool stuff you got going on. You got the, I think this is the one with the giant spider, right?
Giant spider and Razorfen Downs?
Right? Or is that Crawl?
I honestly have no clue what you're talking about. Razorfen, I know, has the giant boar.
Yeah, of course.
The gong boss.
The gong boss.
Yeah.
And And then of course, yeah, you got all this.
It's also got the better escort quest.
True.
Of the two Razorfen dungeons,
and
because
also,
the dragon dude actually fucking moves.
He actually, he hauls it. He's like sprinting, dude. And then
he's.
And then you also, who can forget the skeleton room?
Scourge know how to party.
Scourge know how to party, bro. The pile of bones. And whatever the hell they're listening to.
Funky ass Nomergon music.
True. I'd say Downs is a pretty enjoyable experience. Personally, I'd put it maybe even above Black Fathom.
I don't know if Dead Mines is better than Razorfen Downs. I'm not gonna lie.
I would definitely say Dead Mines is better than Razorfen Downs, personally. But I feel like Razorfen Downs is definitely like better than Black Fathom. Maybe even better than Shadowfang.
I guess it could be up there in solid, yeah. It's a very, very good end of mid game dungeon, definitely. Without a doubt. It's a culmination of certain quest lines. Again, it's cool for horde players because you've been killing Quillbore for 30 levels at that point, so it's nice to finally get to the source of it. And also, introducing the Scourge plotline helps keep it fresh as opposed to Razorfen Crawl.
Yeah, the lore of it is awesome because because you realize, oh, they're trying to revive a dead god. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's not a horrible dungeon, and again, it's genuinely challenging for the level that you experience it at. It's probably one of the best.
Oh, for sure. All right.
In that respect.
Now, Older Man. Older Man is an interesting case because I feel like the real problem with Older Man is the level bracket and also where it's located. You know?
It's a very out-of-the-way instance. There's very little reason to do it unless you haphazardly pick up, like, a quest for it.
Yeah, because, like...
It's not a...
Because, like, the only real reason you would ever really want to do Older Man, at least from my experience, was for really tank gear. But besides that, that's really...
That and the bag that drops at the end.
Oh, right,
I think it's a 14 or a 16 slot. I can't remember which, but you can get a bag at the end from the treasure chest.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. I mean, aesthetically, it's got, like, the Trog enemies. It's pretty ass.
I mean, like, aesthetically, it is pretty cool, at least whenever you get to the actual, like, temple section.
Yeah, it was, like, the first foray into... that, like, the Titans and the exploration of that kind of stuff. But cool. Personally, honestly, nah, I disagree. I've never found the discovery of the dwarves and, like, the earthen and the iron forged, all that kind of stuff. Like, I've never found it particularly compelling. So for me, lore wise, it just does not hold up. And of course, the cut iron, like the discs of whoever the fuck, it's just okay. Like, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's genuinely, like, it could go below the stockades for me. I really don't have an opinion on it one way or another.
I'd even say forgettable. Bottom forgettable.
Yeah, like the only notable thing about it again is the bag that drops from it. Like, that's the most notable part of fucking Older Man.
Now this, oh boy, Zul'Farrak, baby. Zul'Farrak. It's peak. That's all.
It's peak, bro. It's peak. It's a good capstone.
It's a good capstone.
Before, when it was like your introduction to attunements, first of all, with the Gong of Zul'Farrak for Gazrilla to get the Almighty Carrot on a Stick.
Almighty Carrot on a Stick, baby.
Again, it's mechanically challenging. There's again, you got polymorphers, you've got silences, you've got a lot of it's not too spammy. The mob density is high, but it's not a spam dungeon. If you're selective and smart about which way you go, it's not that bad. You can mount inside of it, which is a huge plus for a sprawling instance. Yeah. You can mount inside of it. The enemies are fairly fun to fight. Fighting trolls. You're not fighting trogs. You're not fighting fucking worms. You're not fighting Defias miners. You're not fighting fucking Scarlet Myrmidons.
You got a variety of different stuff. You got basilisks in there too. You got beetles. All of that's pretty cool.
Aesthetically, it fits. It's a desert city for the trolls.
Daenerys.
Lots of cool lore in it. Yeah,
the bosses are pretty cool too. You got Gazrilla. You got the
staircase section is really cool too. It's really challenging, but not punishing.
Yeah, it's not punishing, but it is challenging for what it is. You got the 2 trolls at the end. You got,
It
fighting.
drops the Bis Rogue headpiece,
Yeah,
by
the
the way.
Bis Rogue.
Embrace of the Lycan is literally
Yeah.
Bis for rogues up until Molten Core, if not after that.
Yeah. You got the of course you got the whatchamacallit, Necromancer troll. You got the dude in the like the lower tablet area. You got that guy. You got the basilisk owner. You got, of course, Gasrilla. It's just a good dungeon. And also, I've noticed that most of the ad drops, like random world BOEs drops, I've gotten from here. I'm just saying. There's something about Zul'Farrak, man.
It's a great dungeon. Really.
It's a great
Everything
dungeon.
about it. It's phenomenal, no question about it.
Phenomenal. That's top 3 dungeons. Ain't no question about it.
Undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly. Alright, now, Moradon.
Moradon.
Okay, we're gonna take this piecemeal, though, because there's multiple wings. Same with the other ones. With multiple wings. Purple... Purple, Huh. I definitely feel like purple is an interesting one, because we usually do orange first, I think, and orange is kind of just low-key kind of buns, so we just get that one out of the way first. But purple is an interesting case because, like, it's not terrible. I'd say it's pretty forgettable, personally. It's not Princess, because Princess is like what everybody, like Pristine Waters, everybody thinks about that when they think of Moradon, I feel like the problem with Moradon is even whenever you do the different wings, it still drags on,
I disagree. I actually kind of like pretty much all the wings in Moradon. As for purple, enemy variety is definitely a little bland. It's pretty much just satyrs and imps, so you're not really doing a whole lot in that respect. There's nothing really new to introduce to you. Loot-wise, it's decent. There's a couple of things that drop from it. Quests here, it's good because it's on the western coast of Desolace, so it's not just like in the middle of the Centaur fucking rape pit. You get quite a few quests that send you to Moradon, which are cool. They're not necessarily connected to the overall conflict of the zone with the Centaur clans, which is also nice. You have the conquest for the Centaur lords. And overall, I mean, the bosses here, again, I would say pretty much, it can go unforgettable. I don't think it's a bad dungeon. Definitely better than Uldaman.
Definitely.
But it's not a particularly like standout stellar, like no one's going around, bro, I remember the first time I ran purple crystals. Like it's okay. Yeah. It's all right. The quest for it is definitely a lot better than the orange crystals though.
For sure. All right. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to take a quick little intermission right now.
Okay.
All right, and we're back. So, now, Orange Moradon. This is low-key poop from a butt, in my opinion.
It's low-key poop from a butt. No, I would say
it's not. I would say it's. I feel like with Moradon, I'm a little bit too harsh on it sometimes, but I don't know. I'm just,
yo, it drops the helmet, bro.
It drops
can't be
the
that hard
Spiritus helmet.
It drops the Spiritus helmet. Come on, dog. Nah. But, I would say Orange Moradon. I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic. Don't really like the. I mean, bro, it's your namesake right now. Literally, Spores of Moradon.
The Spores of Moradon. Come on.
I'm not a huge fan of the poop caves.
Yeah.
The bosses are kind of
aren't the greatest, but they're not terrible.
Kind of hit and miss, yeah, but they're not egregious.
Yeah.
I would put Orange Moradon more so in forgettable than in terrible because it's not badly designed. It's not like unplayable. There's not a lot of cancer in it. It's just like it's just meh. Like, like I personally, I wouldn't say I love Desolace as a zone. I like the west coast of Desolace. I like the coastline. I like Shadowprey Village.
Oh yeah.
The main Desolace obviously sucks dick. Like, don't get me wrong.
I do,
the Centaur, bro.
Even some aspects of Desolace I do like the Coda Graveyard is cool.
It overstays its welcome.
Oh,
for such a large zone, it just overstays its welcome.
If there was a little bit more like diversity in the actual like biome.
If they had either made it more slightly diverse, like the northern and southern barrens, like the northern barrens, overall, the area is more or less the same, right? But the
Yeah.
Northern Barrens is more like untamed wilderness, while the Southern Barrens
Yeah.
has a more sinister aspect to
More
it, right? You've got the
sinister
Quillbore.
desert aesthetic.
Yes,
Yeah.
you've got like the small Silithid hive. Shamans have to go there for their water
the
totem
northern
quests.
is more, I guess, lush, while the bottom is more barren. Hence the name, the Barrens.
Not necessarily. I would just say that the south is more hostile. The
Yeah.
north is like a
Yeah,
proving
yeah.
ground. So
Yeah,
if they
yeah,
did
yeah.
something similar with Desolace, granted it's harder to do that because Desolace obviously it
Two
would be
different-
redundant to
yeah.
fit two zones. Because the problem with the Barrens is right, which is why they ended up splitting it in Cataclysm. But the issue with the Barrens is that it's basically the size of two zones in one, right?
Yeah,
so you've
speak-
got the
speaking of the-
crossroads.
Speaking of the splitting, actually, little tangent. I don't know why the hell that they cut Stranglethorn in two. That part makes no sense to me.
It's
But
the same.
Barrens
It's the
makes
same
sense.
problem. It's the same problem though, because
Yeah.
Stranglethorn is 30 to 45. It's 15 levels.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. The Barons still more. The Barons in Classic is 10 to 33.
Yeah.
So again, it's 20. It's what 10 to 33 is, 20.
23
23 levels. So roughly, if you were to split that in half, you could potentially even make a case for it being 3 ways because of Ratchet. Ratchet's like sort of in the middle.
Yeah.
But if you were to split that 2 ways, 23 divided by 2 is what? That's like 23 divided by 2 is 11 and a
11
half
and a half,
levels.
yeah.
So Stranglethorn Veil divided by 2 is 7 and a half levels. So it's
Yeah.
pretty much the same. It's the same idea. It's that, especially on a one-time server on like actual Blizzard
stuff,
XP
yeah.
rates. That's a lot of fucking time to be in one zone. So I
Yeah.
understand why they split some of the zones in half.
Anyway,
But going
yeah,
back to Desolace.
I
Back to
feel
Desolace.
like-
It's so
yeah.
boring you just have to stop talking about it.
Yeah.
The problem with
Like, there's
Desolace is
nothing.
basically there's just
nothing.
there's not enough to do in there. Moradon as a dungeon conceptually is cool.
Is
I like the
cool,
corruption
yeah.
of nature.
Yeah.
More
I do feel
wild
like-
god stuff.
Yeah. I do feel like my only problem is
Rexar
that,
was there.
Yeah, Rexar was there. My only real problem with Desolace is that I wish that there actually was more like corrupted, like, you know how like down like near the southern half there's like the demon area.
The demon, yeah, and in the northern half there's the burning blade.
Yeah, Burning Blade. I wish there
If
was
they
just a
had
little bit
basically-
more, you know.
What I think the best solution for Desolace could be, like in a theoretical classic plus, right?
Yeah.
Southwestern Desolace should be purely demonic.
Yeah.
Northwestern Desolace could be
Twilight.
Burning Blade.
Yeah, Burning Blade.
Northeastern Desolace could be Night Elf or like Cenarian Circle.
Yeah,
Make
and
it like a prelude to Silithus.
Yeah, and then
Southeastern and
Southeastern,
Central
yeah,
Western
Central.
Desolace could be the Centaur conflict, and then Far Western Desolace could be Shadowprey Village still,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Moradon at the west side to connect to the Centaur to
Yeah,
basically
yeah.
bring it all together. So you've got the corrupted wild gods for the Cenarian Circle. You've got the demonic influence that feeds
Yeah.
that corruption, and you've got the Centaur conflict that drives the ghosts walking around. So you've got a lot of different things to do in a zone that would be otherwise pretty much
Otherwise, yeah,
devoid of
devoid,
any
yeah.
of any real desire
It
to
would
go
also
there.
be layers of irony too for a lot of stuff to be in Desolace, you know.
Because it's called Desolate.
It's called
All I'm
Desolate.
saying is, I mean, we noticed this in our current playthrough, right? But the water in the Western Plaguelands is clearer than the water in Desolace. Consider that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Moradon Princess.
Moradon Princess is, I think,
It's alright.
It's alright.
It's alright.
It's alright.
It's alright. Long as fuck. Land Before Time is in it though. Plus princess farming. It's alright.
alright.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Same reaction we had when we actually outleveled it. I would say, nah, it's definitely better than Stockades. Honestly, yeah, you could put it next to Razor
Yeah.
Kroll. I think that's fair.
Okay. Alright, now, ooh, buddy. Ooh,
Black Rock.
Black Rock Depths, baby. Even though we harp on Moradon for being long, BRD is long as hell. I mean, I think it's even longer than Moradon, actually. But it utilizes
doubt.
the length a lot better.
The reason I'll let you finish because I know you like it.
Because I love it. Because there's multiple, like, not only is there multiple layers, but there's also multiple pathways and different ways to go about it and clear it. Because you can also just take it piecemeal. You could do it like, oh, you could just do prison. You could go do the highway, and then you could go over to the Grim Guzzler and do all that, and then you could just stop doing that. Or you can go over through and go to the upper city and everything. You could do all that and stop right there. Or you could just do the entire instance. You can go all the way to the end. You can go about it multiple ways in different directions. I love it. It also has a lot of in-game, like, crafting materials for vanilla. It's got the Thorium Brotherhood with a lot of good patterns, plans, and chants and everything. It's got the Grim Guzzler, man. That's all I gotta say.
It's got the Elite Horde Chieftains.
It's got the Elite Horde Chieftain, bro. It's got the Goblin Band going on. It's got
It's got that bad bitch succubus. It's got dire brew.
Dire Brew, bro. It's like whenever I think of a dungeon that encapsulates what vanilla is, I think of BRD personally.
I agree, and I wanted to point out also, just because it's something that is lost in translation, especially because of the way that we played it. Obviously, we played on a Wrath private server, so we had the experience of queuing into it and doing the full clear every time. BRD is a relic of what Classic's design philosophy was, which is piecemeal content, right? That's why the Dungeon Finder splits them up, because you have to remember also the Dungeon Finder was added in pretty much the last patch of Wrath. It was added in 3.3. So it was added when ICC came out with a lot of catch-up content, stuff like that. And I think originally you couldn't even queue for Classic and BC stuff. It was just for Wrath dungeons.
Yeah, I'm
but
pretty sure
that aside, the thing with BRD is it was designed as a piecemeal instance. So you would go in and do the prison section, come back out, turn your quests in. And even before that, you would do quests in the lead up to Blackrock Depth. So you would do the quests in
Searing Gorge.
No. I'm saying like when you actually enter Blackrock Mountain.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the foyer area with Overmaster Pyron and all that shit.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool, and also again breadcrumb quests that start from Kargath that send you into Blackrock Mountain. It's a pinnacle for endgame classes.
Oh, absolutely.
But again, so I just think it's ironic because there's a lot of parallels with Blackrock Depths and Gnomeregan, where you're exploring a city of an alliance or adjacent race, where the Dark Iron Dwarves and the Gnomes. And the thing is that again BRD was done just so much more
masterfully,
just so much better in quality than Gnomeregan was, because granted again also BRD is a lived in city, right? Like there's a bar, there's still a military functioning, etc. But they perfected it with Blackrock Depth.
Absolutely. It also
easy phenomenal, obviously should definitely just be up there off principle, really.
Yeah, it's just so good, dude. It's like
there's really it's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
It's like there's so many ways to go about it. There's so many quests in there. There's so many good drops in there, dude. It's just so good, dude. It's like I'm just saying, even one of the instance gates for a raid is in there. I'm just saying. That's how good it is.
MC is in there, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
no-brainer.
I would argue it's probably the best dungeon in Classic.
I would argue that too. Yeah.
Strong case to be made.
Because it has to compete with ZF, which is also phenomenal. I feel like that's also another thing to really say, because BRD and ZF really perfected both sides of the dungeon spectrum. ZF is more of a short form one, or more like short medium, while BRD is probably the longest dungeon. And they both perfected it so well. Yeah.
And that, again, just to go back to the Gnomeregan parallel too.
Yeah.
BRD again perfected the idea of going in and out of an instance, because like I was saying before with Gnomeregan, there is no reason for you to ever do a full clear of Gnomeregan.
Oh, definitely.
Same reason. Granted, could you do a full clear of BRD after you grinded it out? Yeah, for like drops, like for me, for instance, getting my Shaman Totem, the Totem of Rage from Magmus, but overall. BRD was meant to be experienced piece by piece. So you do the prison, then you can do the Grim Gut, like the middle section, then you can do the highway, then you do then you do Shadowforge City, and then even still there's the relic coffers and the secret boss when you open up all the coffers. And there's a lot to do. You can definitely say it was quite literally a pre-raid. Like it was a 10-man instance.
It really was, yeah. I feel like it was actually more of a pre-raid than even lowers and uppers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they were considered raids.
Yeah.
Lowbers and uppers.
Yeah.
On to Scholomance.
Oh, no, this here is the Sunken Temple.
Which one is Scholomance? Scholomance is the one between Dire Maul and Strat?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I did them in progression order.
I see.
So, Sunken Temple. I feel like Sunken Temple, at least in my opinion, both versions of it, the pre and post Cataclysm, really just aren't the greatest. The Cataclysm one absolutely just stripped it for all of its worth, unfortunately. Like, it made it shorter, yeah, but it just ruined the entire dungeon, personally. But not saying that the entire, Sunken Temple was too great to begin with, really. But I feel like both sides are a little bit too extreme with what they're doing, because I feel like regular the original one, it was a little bit too maze-like in my opinion. Because the different levels and the certain pathways to get all the trolls and the rafters and everything to actually, and then go down the different walkways and rooms everywhere.
It's very labyrinthine, yeah.
Very labyrinthian. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's just it's a little bit much for what it actually really is realistically.
Of the two instances in Dustwallow Marsh, it's without a doubt the weakest.
Oh, for sure.
Putting it mildly.
I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's definitely the weakest piece of content in Dustwallow.
And that's saying something, considering it's a fucking swamp.
Yeah.
It's definitely, for an endgame classic dungeon, I think again, compared to... It's funny because it's in such a weird spot compared to its peers, right? Because even personally, I like Dire Maul. I know that you're not a fan of it, and I know it's coming up next, so I'll hold off on that.
I was remembering, for example, I'm pretty sure whenever we were talking about Dire Maul, I was remembering wrong, because I was thinking about, I was thinking about Sunken Temple whenever we were talking about Dire Maul. I was like, yeah, I don't
really? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because Sunken Temple,
no worries.
I don't really like Sunken Temple.
No, I don't blame you. I'm not a huge fan of the design. Honestly, I can't remember a single thing about the enemy drop, so I can't even speak on that.
There are a couple things that are cool. Like, there was, the one thing everybody knows about Sunken Temple, the essence of Aranekis. Come on. The trinket where it spews out poison around you. That's kind of cool.
And of course, the goated helmet, the horns of Aranekis.
Yeah, the horns of Aranekis, and then the whatchamacallit, the dragons that come out after you defeat all the bosses that lead you down to the hole for the secret boss.
Yeah,
well, secret
it's
quotes, but
I guess what I would say is about Sunken Temple.
Bad. I wouldn't say it's bad, but
no, you could put it in all right. You could put it above Stockades, I guess.
Because there's a lot of things going for it. I just am not really a fan.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, no, I would just say, compared to its peers, Sunken Temple is just probably the weakest of the endgame classic dungeons. Like, compared to Dire Maul, Scalo, Strat, and BRD.
Uppers, BRD, Lobers.
It doesn't have... The thing that all of those other instances have, besides design, right? I would argue, honestly, it's probably a tie between Lower Blackrock Spire and Sunken Temple for, worst design, but Lower Blackrock Spire wins out because I think the enemies are so compelling, the lore reason for why you're there is much more compelling than Sunken Temple.
I think the Lower Lobers also has a more unique layout, in my personal opinion.
Yes, it's you're exploring the ruins of the city, so it's a lot more... It's definitely more engaging than Sunken Temple,
for sure.
The last word that I'll say about Sunken Temple is, again, just compared to the other endgame classic content, it doesn't hold up because its enemy variety is pretty ass. Its actual content is also pretty ass. The design of it is not very entertaining to play through. Lobers and Ubbers, you're exploring halfway military, halfway city. Dire Maul, you're exploring the ruins of an ancient city. And Blackrock Depths, you're exploring a lived-in city with an active military. And then there's a lot more going for it than Sunken Temple.
You got
Strat and Skull, you're exploring. Those are also slightly more lore connected to Warcraft 3 itself.
Straight up Warcraft 3.
But even those two, right? It's less about. I'm not saying design it's a city, so it's good. But they all have something that's more. It catches your attention more than Sunken Temple. Sunken Temple has the opportunity to be way cooler than the other ones, and it just falls flat.
If instead of what they did with Cataclysm, if they just kind of streamlined it just a little bit, removed some of the more mazy aspects and kept most of the content there, I feel like it would be a lot better. Because it's not really good to go all around, go up and down just to go kill one troll and then go kill another one. That's not really fun. And also, I feel like there's a lot of dead space in some of the rooms. Like, for example, there's those two hallways that lead to the same empty room. You know which room I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
That could have been a boss, but besides that, it's just a missed opportunity. That's what it is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right, now Dire Maul.
DM
DM East. I feel like forget which one. Which one is east? That's the plant one.
Let's see here. To be honest, they all kind of blended together for me.
Yeah, they kind of blended together.
Yes, Dire Maul East is the plant one with the demons in the back.
Okay, yeah, I didn't mind. I thought east was cool. I thought east was cool.
It's not as confusing the second time around either. That's
Yeah.
one thing that I'll give it credit for.
Oh, definitely.
It is very much straightforward. Even on your first run, there's like a general design to it.
Yeah.
And also, again, giving credit to Dire Maul, it drops a lot of pre-raid items.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, granted, so every classic endgame instance drops some pre-raid items. Obviously, it's their nature as endgame dungeons.
Of course.
But Dire Maul is even considered on the same tier as like Molten Core for some of its items because it's like tier 0.5 compared to tier 0.
Yeah, and also there's a lot of good drops, like you said. There's also the at least when it comes to, I think it's east or it might be west, but like the books for your classes.
Yeah, the Librams, the spell books.
The spell books, the all of that, and then when we get to north, I'll mention it, but yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff going for it. I think I don't mind east. I thought it was cool.
Yeah, not bad. Again, you could probably put it in solid.
I put it. You know what? Hold on. Here's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
Alright, west. I don't remember, because I remember north has the tribute run, east is the plants. I don't remember what west is. West is the... Which one is it?
It was the first catch-up dungeon. We never did this one. This is with all the highborn ghosts.
Oh.
This has a lot of it's like trinkets, stuff like that, like just catch-up stuff.
Okay.
So it's not something that we ever bothered with. It's again, it's not offensive, I would say. It's just a very function over form type of dungeon.
Yeah.
The content itself is not particularly.
It's the same problem as another instance that we'll get later on, but
a lot of it, again, it's based on progression, which is cool because it's like one
Yeah.
of the first mini raids in that aspect. So some of the a lot of the bosses are based around different classes.
Yep.
They're okay. You know what? They're okay.
It's okay.
It's just I guess again, it's just fairly inoffensive. It's not anything
it's
particularly
inoffensive,
unique or
yeah.
special. It could go in. Honestly, it might be a contender for forgettable or like bottom of all right. Probably better than Sunken Temple, but I could see an argument for it being unforgettable. It's a catch-up dungeon.
It's a
It's like
catch-up.
again, like the most notable thing about ZG is Corrupted Blood and the Zulian Tiger.
Yeah.
Like it's not noteworthy.
Yeah. Alright, now, north. North is what most people think of when they think of Dire Maul. Like, you got you got tribute runs, you got the world buff, you got all the the loot's pretty solid, you got all this different stuff, you got of course, challenging the Lord or the ogres there, all that stuff. Just pretty solid. I'd say it's I there's not really much I can really say about it. It's just I think it's solid.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I honestly don't have much to say about it. Again, the Gordunia ogre suit is always a classic. Watching somebody walk around in that shit. The tribute run is a cool concept. It was like the first almost non-linear dungeon. I mean, you could make the same case for BRD, but and technically ZF too. But yeah. No, like really like the first non-linear dungeon. Again, Dire Maul itself just serves as sort of like a catch-up sort of thing. So it's not, it doesn't do anything particularly noteworthy. But again, the loot obviously gives it a boost. Enemy variety is kind of ass because it's mostly just ogres and beasts. So it's like, okay. Aesthetic-wise, again, it's okay. It's an ancient high elven city. Really not much to say. And then I guess in the Dire Maul, like the pre-instance, like the actual area of Dire Maul, there's that dragon rare or the elite that drops some Prebus stuff.
Yeah.
That's okay. Overall, I would say Dire Maul as a whole is not necessarily bad. It's just it's between forgettable and just like it's serviceable. It does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, I feel like Yeah.
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 Nothing really particularly wrong with it.
Now
we're getting into
Scala.
the nitty gritty.
Yeah, nitty gritty. Scalomance. We actually did this several times, really.
Quite a few times.
Quite a
for those
few
shitty
times.
ass dungeon tier 0 sets. Justice for enhancement shamans.
Justice for enhanced shamans. It's a shame that enhanced didn't really get anything.
Until Burning Crusade tier 5, which is kind of fucking crazy when you think about it. But we're not going to talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that, though.
We're not going to talk about that.
Scalomance is a really cool place, in my personal opinion. I really do like. I feel like I think Scala is really cool, but the actual dungeon itself isn't necessarily the greatest per se. But that's not saying it's bad at all. I feel like the aesthetic is really cool. The whole, lore behind it's cool. But some of the bosses are a little bit, eh. And also there's a lot of ads. There's a lot.
The thing to remember is Scalomance was also a 10-man instance.
This is true.
Similar to BRD, so yeah, you can be given a pass for that. Overall, I would say its layout, it's very much it's not a catch-up instance, but it's a very like pseudo catch-up with the dungeon set and stuff like that. It's just kind of it loses its luster very quickly. I think we talked about this after we beat it the first time. It's just very underwhelming. It seems like it's going to be this big thing, like the School of Necromancy, Cult of the Damned, all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's a very almost, in a way, it's almost generic. You would think that it's like very stand out, but it's honestly rather generic when it comes down to it. It's like just
it has a lot going for it, but it's just kind of
aesthetics can only get you so far. Agreed, enemy variety is not great. Mechanically, it's kind of annoying with the constant fear spam, although I guess that prepares you for Burning Crusade. So I would say it definitely belongs in solid. There's nothing like particularly egregiously wrong with it. It's just not like one of those dungeons that I will be like, oh my god, I love Scalomance so much. Like I'm kind of glad we didn't play through it on the private server. Like it is just, it's okay. It's all right.
It's all right. I mean, yeah, I'd say it's like bottom of solid, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, now, Stratholme. This is where it comes big for Warcraft 3. Like, Live. Live is the main section. It's the main gate, right?
Sorry, what?
Stratholme. I think Live is the section, like the main first entry section.
Yeah, Dead is the service gate.
Yeah. Live is cool. I like Live. Live has the whole, the Scarlet, the Scarlet Brotherhood. You got, the whole, like, for some reason they have a temple. It makes sense whenever you actually play it, and see all that stuff. The Scarlet Brotherhood, they have their whole thing going on in like that town center section. They got all those bosses. It's like a mini little Scarlet Monastery in there. It's pretty cool.
Somehow nicer than the actual Scarlet Monastery too.
I mean, it makes sense considering the demons there were like, hey, you're under our control now, buddy. So you're gonna make your temple inside of here where we have all their stuff.
True. It's again, lore-wise, it's a pretty cool. Obviously, Stratholme. It's Stratholme. It's where it all began.
Yeah.
I would say Live definitely would be below Undead for me, just because I think that it can be.
It's cool. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah. It's cool. I'm sure if you played in like a classic server, the Argent Dawn rep and the quests that are involved with it are for sure what makes it more compelling. But overall, Strat Live is almost, I would say, in a weird way, cookie cutter.
A little bit. I can see what you're saying. Yeah. But I don't.
Not bad though.
It's not inherently bad. I still think it's definitely solid at least. But
I would probably put it at the top of solid, just because the lore and the aesthetics carry it so hard. The gameplay is pretty fun overall. And enemy variety is, of course, up there. You've got a good mix of undead, mechanically intensive fights. Obviously, the final boss being a bait and switch.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really, not. There's
really
nothing
cool.
to complain about when it comes to Stratholme Live.
Yeah, I think it's cool. But Dead is where it really picks up.
That is where it shines, of course. I mean,
Of course,
especially
yeah.
if you played during Classic, it was like the prelude.
Yeah.
The Nax before Nax,
The Nax
obviously,
before
as,
Nax,
as
yeah.
as we attempted to discover the unfinished floating necropolis,
Yeah.
the unused raid portal.
Yeah.
You know, the Baron's Death Charger, that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
It's a great experience,
it's
without a doubt.
really
Strat
good.
Dead. And when you're properly geared for it, which is again something that we didn't experience our first time because we obviously were not equipped for it.
Yeah.
Strat Dead is a lot easier than I think a lot of people would care to admit.
Oh, for sure,
I definitely think in an actual classic environment where like you had to grind out your reputations and get your dungeon pre-bis and stuff, probably lost its appeal very quickly. But a lot of these endgame dungeons flip-flop between replayable and fire and forget. So
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I would argue Stratholme. I think Strat Dead belongs in great just for the lore
for
alone
sure,
and
yeah.
the fact that Nax was supposed to be inside of it.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
But as an actual gameplay experience in terms of like leveling a character from 1 to 60 and then gearing that character, it's up there with Scholomance and even honestly Dire Maul to an extent where it's very much fire and forget. Like
For
I
sure.
have no desire to play through
I
Strat
understand,
Dead.
yeah.
It
Yeah.
loses its appeal very quickly.
Yeah,
It's
it does,
it's
but
cool the first
it's-
couple of times, but after a while it's like I'm
But
good.
even then, it's still. I'd still argue, even if it does lose its luster very quickly, I still believe it does belong in grade.
Yeah, no, it's Stratholme. It's got to be
Stratholme.
great.
It's got to be. We have to burn the city.
Entire city must be purged.
City must be purged. Ah, it's just great. Alright, Lobers. Lobers time. Lobers is an interesting case because it's like everybody kind of forgets about Lobers in comparison to Uppers, and that's mostly for a good reason. But I'm not saying Lobers is even bad because I think it's cool. I think it's really cool, but it's like another thing where kind of like Dire Maul and Marodon, to where the other, and even Stratholme to a degree, where the other version, like the more, like the higher version of it, is just better, just straight up better. Not because one is bad, nah, because the other one is just better, you know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I like Lobers because
Yeah, I
it's
like
like it's an inversion of Orgrimmar. I think
Oh, yeah, yeah.
lore wise, Lobers is on par with Stratholme Dead,
Oh, for
even
sure.
though Ren Blackhand is sort of like a forgotten about character from Warcraft 2.
Oh yeah.
Again, it brings a lot to the flavor of the Horde.
Oh, for sure.
It again, the Alliance doesn't really have a reason to go there except for Blackwing Lair.
Yeah.
But as a Horde player, for sure, it carries a lot of weight to it because, again, you're seeing what the Horde was before Thrall came along and changed things.
Yeah,
you
the
know, so
origi-
you
the
still
original
have
Horde, yeah.
ogres, trolls, warlocks, even the spiders. You know,
You
and
got
then of course
trolls
you
in
have
there,
the
too.
Black Dragon flight, the breadcrumbs that will eventually lead us into Blackwing Lair.
BWL uppers.
Yeah, so it's definitely it's one of my personal favorites as a concept because in a way, again, it's like the inversion of Blackrock Depths, right? It's not
Oh,
really a
yeah.
lived-in city in so much as it is a military outpost with
Yeah.
because there's no civilians, right? There's
Yeah,
no
there's-
Grim
there's
Guzzler.
no-
Everybody there is solely there for the sake of destroying
war.
the new Horde and returning to the way of the old Horde and Blackhand's vision for it and
Yeah.
Nefarian's machinations, of course. So, it's one of those dungeons that requires a certain taste to appreciate it, and
Oh, for sure.
in gameplay wise, it's not great. The design of it
Yeah.
is a little,
A little
it leaves
muddy
something to be
sometimes.
desired. But overall, I am a big fan of
yeah.
Lower Blackrock Spire.
Oh,
I
for
would
sure.
definitely
I
put it
agree.
on par with Stratholme Live, no contest.
Oh, for
Definitely,
sure.
honestly, I would say it's might actually even be better than
I actually-
Dead Mines.
You know what? I'm looking inclined to agree, actually. I really enjoyed our time in just the entirety of Blackrock Mountain.
It's just such a good zone. There's so little contest for it.
On God. It's just so good. All of
Yeah.
the stuff there is, like, even at lowest, even at like the worst instance in it, is still pretty solid.
Yeah.
Now, Here's what I'll say about one side just being better. Uppers. Oh my god.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. It's a certified hood classic.
Certified horde classic.
Certified horde classic. Like
it's peak.
It's peak.
It's just peak. You know, you've got Drakaseth's brand. You've got the
chromatic dragons.
There's so much going on.
There's so much going on, and doesn't feel overwhelming.
No, it's introduced to you in a very natural way. It's just that peak. It's just that peak.
And then uppers, it's just so good. I'd even say, you know what? Yeah, I'd say I think uppers is one of those instances where there's a lot going on, and it doesn't feel overwhelming at all. It feels completely it feels natural for what you're doing. You got all this different stuff going on, different plot lines coming together. You got the chromatic dragons, they're trying to force breed dragons together. You got the old versus new horde. You got Nefarian doing his thing. You got Rin Blackhand. You got all this good stuff. It's just so good, dude.
And you've also got the tie-ins to multiple raids here.
Yeah.
You've got Drakaseth. You got the Seal of Ascension, obviously.
Yeah.
I would say Upper Blackrock Spire. The thing that I love the most about it is, again, it's cohesive. Again, you've got the crossing between the Black Dragonflight and the Old Horde, similar to Warcraft. That's what.
Yeah.
Again, Upper Blackrock Spire is a continuation of threads from Warcraft 2.
Yep.
Where Stratholme and Scholomance are continuations from Warcraft 3.
Yeah.
But Upper Blackrock Spire has some of the best bosses. Ren Blackhand is iconic.
Sure,
General Drakaseth is iconic. The Rookery Room, of course.
It's just so
it's great and it's honestly very short and sweet. If you were to do the entirety of both Blackrock Spire instances, I mean they're one instance, but doing together, it would definitely get tiring. But I like the fact that Upper Blackrock Spire is very straight to the point. You go in there, you've got the initial room with casters, then you've got the Rookery, then you've got the Armory, then you've got the Hall of Blackhand, and then you fight Blackhand himself, General Drakaseth. And then eventually leading you into Blackwing Lair. So overall, it's just a very cohesive, really done well experience. Yeah, and again, the loot is great, and the fact that it ties into so many attunement quests.
Bro, it's got so many different stuff going on.
It has an attunement for itself.
Exactly.
For fuck's sake,
it's so good that it tunes its own self. That's crazy.
It's peak. It's absolutely peak. I believe it belongs in phenomenal upgrade in CF and DoD.
I agree.
Unquestionably.
Now, Molten Core. This is what we were talking about. The weakest in Blackrock Mountain is still pretty solid. Molten Core, it was the first raid. Well, if you would count the BRG uppers and lowers and everything, if you would count them raids, then those are really more like that. But this is the first full
40-man instance.
40-man instance. Yeah. It's not bad for what it is. It's not terrible.
I like it. I think design-wise, in my opinion, Molten Core, while simplistic, is honestly low-key the blueprint for some raids. It doesn't overstay its welcome.
Definitely.
It's not too punishing. The loot drops are straightforward and to the point. There's no confusion about different epics and, this purple is slightly better than this purple. It's when classic itemization is at its best, where it's very simple and to the point. Granted, it's a little restrictive. Again, like we said, justice for enhancement shamans.
Yeah.
But it's to the point, and it's just right there. You know what I'm saying? The enemies...
It's a sweet dungeon, yeah. I mean,
it was the first legendary. I mean, it had to be, right? But it was the first legendary we ever got. It's a great time. It's a great time. I would say probably at the top of solid without a doubt.
Oh, for sure. I definitely feel it's really solid. It works really well. For how simple it is, it works really well.
Yeah.
It's
and
yeah.
If they I mean, I think they ended up. No, they made Blackwing Descent, right? They never redid Molten Core.
Yeah, they never did Molten Core. They did Blackwing Descent, and then they also did Lava Fireworld.
Didn't Ragnaros come back in Cataclysm, though?
Yes, that's Fireworld.
Oh, okay. So so in a way, again, you've got they knew what they were doing. They cooked. They cooked with Molten Core. Off to a great start.
Even though we didn't really have the full experience because we were on a Wrath version, but even the whole thing with even the combined effort of of course you got the Alliance, you got the Horde coming in, for Molten Core because it's you got coming in from BRD, you got that instance, you got help from the Hydraxian Water Lords. We didn't really interact with them really, but that's still cool. We got their help from the Water Lords. It's just a really cool place. It's awesome. Now,
agreed.
Now, Onyxia. We are in a weird camp because we played Wrath, so Onyxia's a higher thing because it's it's updated for Wrath. But I feel like we can still really judge it based on, like vanilla, I'd say.
Yeah.
I feel like Onyxia, like the storyline tied to Onyxia, and how it ties into, of course, uppers, lowers, BWL.
All of it. Everything in Blackrock Mountain except for Molten Core is connected to Onyxia's lair.
Yeah.
She's probably the brightest of Deathwing's children.
Oh, absolutely.
She might be honestly smarter than Deathwing himself.
Oh, absolutely. Because she's the only one that actually tried.
And she's the only one that gave it a shot. That wasn't just, yeah, you know what, my name's Dr. Evil, and I make abominations in my evil scientist lab. Come kill me.
Because Nefarious, he was like, you know what? Yeah, my human name is Lord Victor Nefarian. Did you even try? And then even Deathwing himself, Devil Prester. You named yourself Devil?
Bro's name is Devil. Bro's name is Devil Prester, and he was like, bro, how did the humans figure it out?
At least with Onyxia, she was actually smart with it. She named herself Katrana Prestor. That's a pretty normal name. And, of course, she got the trust and then brainwashed Bolvar to, get close to the king and also Anduin.
I definitely feel like Onyxia had the most love put into it, besides like
definitely.
Naxxramas.
Of course, yeah.
It had the most love put into it in terms of a setup and a payoff, specifically for Alliance players, which, as we know, Blizzard has an Alliance bias. That's just, simple fact. Doesn't stop the Horde from being the better faction, though.
This is true. And even the Horde side story for Onyxia isn't even terrible either.
Which again, it also speaks to the different characterization that a lot of characters in Classic had. Like Thrall is a completely different person in Classic as a war chief than he is following that.
Absolutely. Definitely
the Onyxia storyline
with Warcraft 3.
Yeah, and really more so Warcraft 2 to a lesser extent, since that's who Deathwing is.
Oh yeah.
Devil Prester from Warcraft 2. Devil Prester. He ran the same con twice. That was his problem. He got fucked up because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Onyxia is. I think we're also getting a little bit lost in the lore, which I think speaks to the efficacy of Endgame Classic. Yeah. It's just so peak as a lore experience, especially because again. It was built with love. There's a lot of love for the actual world that they had created in these instances. I think gameplay-wise, of course, Onyxia 40 is the spawn of more dots handle it, many whelps, minus 50 DKP minus. 50 DKP minus 50 DKP! What the fuck? It's peak, bro. It's peak.
Whelps! Handle them!
Handle it! Whelps! Left side! Handle it! It's just, bro.
It's just...
More dots! More dot fucking! Shadow Word Pain! Warrior Curses! Fucking Rend! How do I click Rend? How do I click Rend? I'm already using my mouse to spam Thunderclap. How am I supposed to click Rend?
I'm pretty sure it was also the first ever one boss raid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just, it's a good time.
It's a good time.
I think overall, I mean, the attunement. This is the thing about Classic instances too, is because of attunement, and the same thing could be said for BC to a lesser extent. But the attunement is obviously longer than the raid in this case, but it's such a good payoff from quite literally from level 1.
Yeah.
You are in the fold of Onyxia's plans up until level 60 when you finally kill her yourself with the help of Marshall Windsor. And again, it connects back to Blackrock Depths, even Blackrock Spire, right? You've got one child of the Black Dragonflight and the other child of the Black Dragonflight, and both of them are trying to undermine the Alliance and the Horde.
And what's even greater is that, like you said, it starts all the way from level 1. Like, multiple dungeons and, instances really combined.
Even the Defias with the missing diplomat and everything like that.
Diplomat, dead mines, all of that ties in. Stockades ties in. It's just great, dude.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. It's just one of those things that you can keep coming back to.
And even as a fight, it's still pretty solid.
Yeah, no, I mean, mechanically, it's a 3-phase fight. You've got, her ground phase, air phase, her fears, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's a good fight,
Yeah.
overall. I mean, design-wise, not so great, but she's a loot pinata, and she's got good lore. I think it's a no-brainer. She belongs in great.
Absolutely. Now, though, where in great do we think? Because I know we, like, I feel like, personally, I'd say around anywhere from here.
I think if we're if we're talking from a purely gameplay perspective, since I think we kind of lost the focus because these endgame dungeons are so cool.
Yeah.
I would say from a purely gameplay perspective, it's most definitely below Lower Blackrock Spire.
Yeah.
But if we're talking from a lore perspective, it's probably honestly might be above Blackrock Depths. But I would say keep it in great since it's more of a gameplay evaluation.
For sure. But yeah, it really just goes to show, like, a lot of the in-game vanilla stuff really do combine lore and gameplay.
It's a magnificent weaving of so many different plot threads that started from the very beginning of your journey as an adventurer.
Now, I know we were just talking about this, but we're gonna take a little detour to ZG.
Which is exactly how Blizzard treated it.
Yep. ZG is a catch-up raid. Like how we had the Dire Maul catch-up. This is the catch-up raid, and it's, to say the least, it's forgettable.
Yeah, no, I look again, like we said, the most notable things about Zul'Gurub are the Swift Zulian Tiger and Corrupted Blood.
Yeah.
Mechanically, not particularly interesting. Design-wise, I mean, it's cool. It's an open-air instance because the Blizzard loves trolls and wants to let you mount in these instances. But overall, as a catch-up raid, I mean, it's
whatever.
It's fine. Yeah, it does its job. It's in a kind of cool area, I guess. That's about it.
Do we put it above or below purple?
I guess it could be probably at the top of forgettable, just because again it's a raid, so there's more grandiosity to it. It had more notable things. Ironically, again, putting it in forgettable while it had two very notable things in it. As like an actual gameplay experience, I don't think anyone is sitting there like, bro, Zul'Gurub is my favorite instance. Like, it's just, it is what it is.
It is. It is what it is. Yeah. Now back to what we were harping so much about like Onyxia, uppers, lowers, everything. BWL.
Blackwing Lair.
Blackwing Lair.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat it. It's just, it's great.
Gameplay-wise, I would argue, really mechanically intensive stuff only happened in the last two raids of Classic, discounting AQ20.
Yeah.
Because that was also another catch-up raid. But Blackwing Lair, from a gameplay perspective, there's a lot of cool things about it that innovated a lot from Molten Core, since Molten Core is essentially just an extended, very hard with 40 people dungeon.
Yeah.
Blackwing Lair has finally genuinely good itemization and loot.
Oh, absolutely.
The boss fights are unique in certain respects. I mean, starting from the very beginning, you've got the mind control guy, you've got Velistraz, who himself is a culmination of a quest line that starts in Lower Blackrock Spire. Yeah. After him, you've got, the suppression room, no?
Yeah, you got the suppression room. And
you got the suppression room.
That boss.
That boss is kind of forgettable.
Yeah.
Then you've got the goblin technicians and the fucking the two mini dragons, the arcane, like the weakness.
Yeah, the weakness, and then you have
mechanically.
And then you got Chromagus after that.
Chromagus, who is it's a really cool design for a boss, combining the aspects of the dragon flights, and then of course you've got Nefarian himself.
And then Nefarian himself, come on.
Yeah.
It's just,
I mean, it's a great fight. It's a great time. It's a great experience.
Great experience, great raid, great loot. It's just great.
Yeah. Over everything about it. Honestly, I mean, I think this one could go right up there in phenomenal.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah. No contest.
No contest. All right, now this is where it gets real.
This is where it becomes very Chinese.
This is where people are gonna click off and leave a dislike.
This is where people are gonna tell us that we're a bunch of fucking wrath babbies who don't know any better.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just start with AQ20. I do not like this. I don't think he likes it.
Not a huge fan. Not a particularly big fan of it. This can really be said for both Encourage instances, so I'll just say my piece on this, and then we'll get to the actual instances themselves. Yeah. But I would say that the Temple of Encourage and the Ruins of Encourage, both of them, are honestly kind of sideshows to the whole Gates of Encourage world event.
Oh, for sure.
It's that world event probably had more effort put into it than the instances themselves. I mean, they added another catch-up raid because the itemization was kind of shit, admittedly.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
For Blackwing Lair, even though Blackwing Lair definitely improved over the dungeon and Molten Core sets,
yeah,
and Zul'Gurub for that matter. But Ruins, just Encourage in general. When it came out, absolutely legendary. Like Cthulhu, again, it literally
yeah,
took like 40 Chinese people coordinating to fucking kill Cthulhu. Don't get me
yeah,
wrong. I would say, but that's Temple. Again, that's AQ40. AQ20 is just it's similar to Zul'Gurub,
yeah,
where I could say, I would honestly say it just belongs in Forgettable. Not because it's a bad instance, but just because there's nothing specifically that's like overtly special about it. There's nothing that's particularly unique. It doesn't offer a lot of new mechanics. It's supposed to be it's a, it's not a replayable instance, but
yeah,
you are forced to replay it because it's of its nature as a catch-up raid.
yeah. And here's my peaks about AQ20. It's so forgettable, but so uniquely, like, it's so uniquely AQ. I just do not like it, dude. It's just, at least in my opinion, AQ40 at least has stuff going for it. AQ20 is just, like, you just don't ever remember anything about it. Like, the only thing I can even think of, we just did it yesterday, and the only thing that I can remember about it is that giant statue dude that you just take his head.
Osirion,
Oh,
or whatever the
Cyrion,
fuck
yeah.
his name is. Yeah.
That's the only thing I remember. And also, oh, you know what? Another thing I do remember is the sacrificial beetles and Silithid. So yeah, I'm saying worst instance in the game.
Yeah. Fair assessment.
Now, AQ40. I know, like, we both are of the same mind when we say this, but I'm a little bit, slightly a little bit more lenient because I do like a lot of the stuff in there, but it's just not really that great. I know a lot of people.
It doesn't have a lot of staying power.
Agreed. It, like,
A lot of
Cthulhu is awesome. Don't get me wrong, and how ever present he is in the actual, like, raid.
shit talking you the entire
Yeah,
time.
and all that. The twin emperors are cool. Don't get me wrong. It's a little finicky, but it's cool nonetheless. The bug family's a little weird, but
That's cool because
that's
the loot
cool.
changes
The
depending
loot
on which
changes
kill order
depending
you
on
do.
which kill order. Yeah, that's.
But
I mean, that's
overall,
cool, but, it's
AQ40, these last two instances, Encourage or Temple of Encourage and Naxxramas 60, um, both of them were contenders for the hardest content in the entire game.
yeah.
But ultimately, Encourage 40, I think, again, conceptually, I believe that a lot of the mystique behind Encourage is around the Gates of
Oh
Encourage
yeah.
event rather than the actual
The gates
instance
had more
itself.
effort put into it than the
In
actual
my in my
instance.
in my opinion, I don't think there was ever a world because again, the thing to remember about Naxxramas, the original Naxxramas, is that I don't necessarily believe in the statistic that it's like 0.0001% of players actually beat
I don't.
Naxxramas.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
That it's horseshit. It's from a time of the internet when such statistics were not really viable. So that's kind of its own thing. But I would say Encourage being the capstone for Classic. Let's say Naxxramas didn't come out, right? Which
Yeah.
it was on the verge of not coming out because it came out like what like
Like 2, 3, 4 weeks before.
no, not weeks, but
Weeks?
it came out. I think it was like 5 or 6 months before Burning Crusade came out.
Yeah, I don't know why I said weeks.
So
but yeah, it was just a couple of months before
it was
TBC. Yeah.
not a lot of time for people to fully experience Naxxramas, and I think that's why it was so hard because basically
Yeah.
there was no time to
Actually,
progress to it,
and also,
learn the mechanics,
yeah,
and
learn.
master it, right?
Yeah.
But had Encourage 40 been the capstone for WoW Classic, I could definitely see it being a contender. I don't. Why'd you just put it in terrible?
I actually picked it up and I just left it there just to.
I would say no. I would say
It's-
Temple of Encourage
Temple of
definitely
Encourage
gets a
is
solid from me. I'm not
solid.
gonna rank it any lower because gameplay wise, when it first came out, again, that was the summation of all that Classic had to teach us, right? Like
Yeah.
everything about it. Everybody actually needed to be at the top of their
Oh,
game.
absolutely.
There was no lengthy attunement for it. The attunement was the world event
Yeah.
for it.
The attunement
Absolutely
was
legendary.
for
I just
everyone.
personally dislike it. I would probably rate it above Molten Core if we're talking from a strictly gameplay perspective.
Yeah.
Because again, getting 40 people together to do AQ40 is just unmatched.
Yeah.
I would put it above Molten Core.
Fair. I'd personally put it below, personally, because at least from our experiences, because I feel like that also kind of, is something to take into account.
That's part of our criteria. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a fair point.
But I do feel like, I think it, like you said, it's definitely like a capstone moment in WoW history, because the attunement for it was for everybody. Everybody helped for the attunement. It counted for everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that also is also a culmination of certain other plot lines. For example, like the Cenarian stuff going on, a lot of like the Night Elf stuff, like a lot of that going on. I feel like I feel like it's not bad. Like it's not AQ20 is really like I feel like AQ20 kind of bogs it down a little bit by being associated with it. But like
just by association.
Just by association. But I actually did before you and me played it together. I did play through it before, and I thought it was cool. I thought there was a lot of stuff going for it, but there are some blemishes. But like even like overall, it's a cool experience, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, Naxxramas, baby. Naxxramas.
Naxxramas. What is there to be said about Naxxramas? What is there to be said?
It was said to be one of, if not the hardest instance during vanilla, because of course
for the short time that it was.
It was re-released just like Onyxia in Wrath, and it was also great there. It's got 4 whole separate wings, and then a separate 5th wing after you finish those. And
lore-wise, Naxxramas is obviously amazing. I mean, it's
like we said for Strath, it ties right back to Warcraft 3 with Kel'Thuzad, Arthas, and everything. It's just, yeah. There's a lot of variety in terms of the bosses there. They definitely put a lot of work into Naxxramas, in my opinion.
Agreed.
Because it's definitely very in-depth. It's got a lot of good stuff going for it. You can go between different sections and everything. The variety, like I said, is there. The loot is great. It's just... And the vibes... Crazy. It's spooky. Just like Stratholme, just like Skalo, vibes, crazy. They're spooky, scary.
The vibes are immaculate. Opening to Naxxramas, the Scourge Invasion, is, again, unlike the Gates of Ahn'Qiraj, it wasn't something that stole the show.
Of course.
It was its own separate thing. It was a continuation of things that had been lying dormant since the end of Classic, since, I guess, patch 1.5?
Yeah.
Because that was when Onyxia came out.
Yeah.
So it was a culmination of things that were left unanswered since patch 1.5, so it was definitely a long time coming. It was just an unfortunate release because, again, it released so close to Burning Crusade.
If it was released a little bit earlier, then it would probably, like, more people would have played it and, really seen what it had
sunk
to
their
offer.
Teeth into it properly. Yeah. But again, I think, gameplay-wise... Yeah, no, absolutely. It was released in Wrath because obviously, I mean, it's a Scourge expansion. How you're not going to have Naxxramas in there? But I would say gameplay-wise, considering the time, being in one of those guilds that had completed Naxxramas 40, Naxxramas 40, probably was up like legitimately a legendary moment. For everybody who played it. I mean, it was it fulfilled the Atish questline.
It was a culmination of so many different things.
AQ40, both AQ40 and Nax had items that were so good and so statistically optimized that they were well into TBC
until you started like getting to higher end like dungeoning even.
Heroic dungeons and the actual later patches of BC. Yeah, so I mean it was the ultimate fulfillment of everything that Classic Design had to offer. It had everything from start to finish: the attunement questline, a reputation faction associated with it, mechanically intensive bosses, A good overall aesthetic to it that was
Awesome
not so
lead up.
heavy-handed as Scholomance and Stratholme, but still being unnerving. A good variety of bosses, and it really
Yeah.
lets you explore what one of the main factions of villains in Warcraft were up to at the time of Classic.
Yeah. It's just to say, just to sum it all up, it's phenomenal, man. That's all I gotta say, and that's exactly where I think it should belong.
I 100% agree.
Now, where in phenomenal do we believe? Because phenomenal has so many good things that it's hard to really think.
I think phenomenal ranking should be left alone in terms of like because we're not
So-
because
'cause
they're all 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
They're all
10 out of
great.
10s. You know, it's just
Phenomenal is in no particular order,
it's in no
except like
particular
how much we personally like them.
Yeah. It's just all this stuff like solid is like, this is like pretty good. This is pretty good stuff. All right, it's all right, And then great is just, oh man, this is so good. And then phenomenal, oh, it's just so good,
Phenomenal is something that everybody likes.
Everybody likes it for good reason. There's a difference between everybody liking it because everybody likes it, but this stuff is phenomenal. Everybody likes it for good reason. It's just, and also a lot of the stuff in phenomenal is just so well rounded, too. It's just you got variety of loot drops, you got awesome aesthetics, you got lore, you got bosses, you got all this stuff, man. It's just so good. All of this. It's just
Agreed.
awesome. So yeah. This is our tier list for vanilla. Whenever we, progress through and do all the TBC stuff, that will be the next episode. So yeah.
Most definitely.
I'm a cat.
I'm a cat.